it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back. You ever have those games, or the probably multiple games, or that feeling in the game you're thinking, I think this guy's gonna do this, and you were right. Like, where did that feeling come from? Do you think was it just random? You're like, I just have a random feeling about something that's gonna happen in the game. It's probably not that. It's probably that you've been analyzing the match and the game and what's going on. You're taking all the SA that you've accrued during the battle and putting the pieces together, and you've come up with an idea of what the other guy's plan of action might be. And a lot of times you can guess the right counter to that. We're going to talk about that as we go, and some of the ways that you're going to gather that SA. And we're going to talk about some Casemate TD stuff as well. We've kind of covered a lot of scout stuff. We've done a bit of medium stuff. So let's talk some TD, and specifically we're going to talk a bit of Casemate. It applies to all TDs to some extent, but Casemates especially can be tricky. You want to, at least in my opinion, you want to get the gun as far forward as possible to get it in the fight. Then you have to take into consideration whether it's a light-skinned or heavy-skinned kind of TD. This thing is the Kolana. It's a Tier 8 Polish TD, and it is, or is it Czech? Maybe it's Czech. I think it's Czech. Czechoslovakian TD, but it's got the star shell, the extra damage if it's close, and it's a Casemate, and it's billed as an assault TD. So I'm going to go kind of do some assault TD stuff with this, in that I'm going to get a bit close, rely on my armor a little bit. It's not fantastic armor, it's decent armor. So I'm going to go up into what is typically kind of the heavy brawl zone, but notice this is also an encounter map. Now, we talked about all that stuff. It's Tier 8. You can take artillery, and there's an artillery involved on each side. But even as I was talking, and what I was thinking about when I was in this match, is all that stuff is going through your brain while you're determining where you're going to go and what you might see. So what I'm expecting to see maybe here are a couple mediums or maybe fast heavies trying to get up on the hill. Now this is a little bit different than the standard mode because it is encounter, and the cap is up there in the northwest, right? Up there. So that does change a little bit how this map will fight. A lot of times they don't send as many over here as they would otherwise. So let's see how this thing goes. So right off the bat, I've got all those things going into my brain. Like, all right, looking for a shot. Here we go. We're just going to aim in on this guy, and we're going to get a nice pin on him. No, we're going to ricochet. Then I'm going to get a little mixed up with the TNH. And I'm not reloading fast enough. So, all right. Now, I know he was there fast, so let's take into consideration SA that we have now. The Progetto got there. He's pretty fast. No fast mediums have come around the corner yet, so I'm sort of not expecting them to be there, to be honest. If they are, they maybe got a late start, but about now, timing-wise, some of the slower heavies could be showing up and potentially getting in position, or even some of the TDs like Charioteer, ISU, Su-130, Scorpion, that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, you're going to pay attention to what else is going on the map. Nobody's been lit up there in the north. And I just got hit by a Caernarvon. Right? I saw the marker come up if you look at the bottom left, and I really recommend you have those turned on down there because that is a de facto spotting mechanism. Right? Or at least an SA mechanism. I got hit by the Caernarvon, so he is over here somewhere. I don't see him, but I just got hit by him. So clearly he's over here somewhere. I think he's probably holed down behind that bush right there, right in front of me. I'm going to take a couple blind shots because there is a position up there. If you look at my gun line, there's a little corner you can kind of sneak around behind, and it's outside of the draw distance. Sorry, outside of the spotting distance and inside the draw distance. People will sometimes poke out. What I'm talking about is this position right here. If you can see my cursor moving around. But he kind of shot me, and I think he's here based on where we find him later. So we've got some SA we built up. Take a stab poorly. It hit the ground. I'm kind of getting a little mixed up with this TNH. He's not allowing the Casemate to work that very well. The Lurva pushes in, and see, I don't know what his SA is. He definitely probably doesn't know that the Caernarvon's there because I don't think he's been hit by him. He saw the Progetto go and get damaged, so he's feeling like he can just go across. And we have a good crowd over here, fellas. We have so many tanks over here that I know we have to do something with this push. There's the Caernarvon. I should zoom out. That was actually bad on me. That's bad SA because I didn't look down and say, oh, there he is. So I wasted another shot. The Lurva gets tore up. Oh, the Progetto, very interesting. So the Progetto either got around that corner faster than the other Peugeot. The Peugeot 46 got around faster than the 54, or he came up the middle. Hard to tell. Now I am going to make a bit of an error here. It's both an error and a good play, because I know we've got to get rid of this Peugeot. The other Peugeot we'll worry about. I'm talking about the 46 that's up in this corner. Because between him coming out, popping out, and hitting people in the side, the Caernarvon in front of us, and potentially this other Peugeot up on top, we're in trouble. So I'm going to use some hit points here and see if we can't get rid of this guy. And it is very unfortunate right now that I'm going to have to expose myself a bit and take some hits. We're starting to see guys get lit up in the north, and I can tell that we've got a bunch of snipers sitting back there, unfortunate, and not a whole lot of guys in and around the cap. So we'll just come around here and we'll hit him. We'll get him for a good hit. Now I'm going to eat Peugeot 46 shots. That is unfortunate. 2 go into me. I'm really hoping the Lurvik can kill this guy. He doesn't. But one of our snipers down there will take care of him in just a second. I'm really kind of in trouble right now. So we'll just face up against the 54. All right, the Peugeot 46 died. That was kind of what I was hoping would happen right there. Look at just the line of snipers. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our tanks plus the Arty are all sitting up there and just sitting in the sniper line. This is not a great situation. As a matter of fact, if the enemy team had been able to jump on the cap and put some pressure on us, we might have been in trouble. Again, these are all the assessments that's going through my mind right now. So the Caernarvon, I'm going to push across here so he can't shoot me in the side. Maybe he wants to come around. T69 moved up, so I'll take that. Unfortunately, I am ammo rack, so I'm going to have to wait another, 58 seconds, so I have a while before I can reload. But the good news is the Peugeot 54 also died. Brought my casemate forward, guys. I've got 650 assists, 757 damage, so getting things done up here. All right. While you're using this position, you want to be very careful about backing up too much, because there'll be shots from across here. So if I go downhill a little bit, I should be covered up, and this Caernarvon is not really paying attention to me right here. So we're going to thump him for a good 544. We'll go ahead and go forward enough that I feel like I'm not going to get shot in the back. That bounces, fortunately. Unfortunately, I have a very long reload, so this is going to be a bit of a wait, and I'm really hoping that that Lorraine 155-51 does not pay attention to me right here. All right, the Barask is behind me. I did not notice this. So there is a bit of SA I do not have. We kill him, and I'm about to find out he's there. Boom, one hit, and he dies right before he kills me. Very fortunate. But we're at 1,440 assist, 1,524 damage. ELC's moving around in the middle, so let's pull it up here. We get the Scorpion dead. And I'll go ahead and kill this VTU. Got a nice shot right on his turret. We're going to be very patient. Zoom all the way in. Shoot. And no, we're not killing him. We just missed. Great. Great. I'm a little bit leery about moving up towards the bushes here. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. Watch the Emil and the T69 over here. Right? They're pushing. This is a bad idea, guys. And while you're assessing what you're doing and what you think the enemy team's doing, also kind of assess what your team's doing and what the enemy team might learn from that. All right? So far, if the 69 and the Emil get in there and they start killing things, that's great. But you have to know that there's several snipers up there. They still have the VTU. They own the north part of the map. So we basically have split the map in half, more or less, right now. And the T69 and Emil, if you know anything about that part of the map, it's an open area that they have to cross. So they're about to get crossfired by the TVP, and God knows who else. STG's making a move here. We'll shoot him. No, we won't shoot him. So he dies. There's a Charioteer right there. All right, let's just zoom right in. This will be nice. Get a nice shot right on this guy all the way in. Shoot. And no. Nope. Nothing. Great. All right. So there's a Charioteer down. Now we're in good shape. I'm watching the 69 in the middle. I'm trying to gather all the SA that I can. What am I learning from those two? Well, so far they've gotten pretty close. So I'm not too worried about them. There's the Su-130, so let's go ahead and maybe make a little move here to try to get around this rock and see if we can get a shot on this dude. And I'm really thinking he's going to die. We're going to have to pickle one off before it gets... Actually, I think he comes back maybe, or I don't know. Maybe I didn't get a shot. I guess I didn't get a shot. Thought I did. He backs out and lives. The 69 and the mill are driving right up out in the open. Again, they're probably fixing to get into a crossfire. We're missing an ISU. We're missing a Jagdtiger, right? Not good. They're in there somewhere. There's the TVP. We'll kill him off. Did not get spotted. There's the Jagdtiger PR. He starts taking multiple hits. Somehow he survives this, and I'm waiting for a reload, and we're going to shoot in here and kill him. Nope. We either missed or bounced, so nothing off of that guy. And check it out. So the Emil and the 69 died, guys. The Emil and the 69 died. Now we'll talk about it in just a second on my assessment of what the enemy team learned from that. All right? What I think the enemy team might have learned from that. I'm sitting here for a while. We've got guys moving forward. We're starting to collapse the vision on the map, so the enemy team doesn't have much. The 53 and 110 are kind of trapped. With the FIRD and Jagdtiger PR and the Arty, that there's not a whole lot they can do unless they can kill off a couple of those forward spotters. The Su-130 PM I thought as being a little bit dangerous, but maybe he can get a guy lit like that guy right there. Excellent. So the PR is dead. I've been here for a while, right? There goes the Lorraine. Now, what is the Lorraine showing me? Well, he's showing me that, where's the Su-130? I thought he might be still sitting there waiting to pummel the Lorraine. So I'll just take a stab into there, but hit the ground, unfortunately. Remember what I said earlier? What do we kind of know that maybe the enemy knows? Let's pause it and talk about it here for just a second. The 110 and the 53, we more or less know where they are. We have no idea where the ISU 152 is. We don't really know where the 155-51 is. What's one of the defining characteristics of a 155-51? They're pretty fast. The Su-130, what's one of the defining characteristics of those? They're pretty fast. If you have an old light, I call them a stale light, like the 130, that was a while ago, or even the 110 or 53, they could be quite far away from those positions. But realistically, how far and where could they go? That's the question. What did the Su-130 maybe learn when the T-69 and the Emil came around that corner and headed north and died? Whatever he saw that came down in the south there, the only three that were left were those two and me. Right? Those two and me. So would he necessarily expect that I'm still sitting there on that corner, maybe trying to push? Probably not. He does know that the noose is tightening up in the north. And he killed two of them. Right? And I'm starting to get nervous because I know all this too. Also, I'm looking at the 40T and I'm wondering why he hasn't started engaging the 130. There's the ISU, so I'm not worried about him. How come the Lorraine has not found or been hit by the Su-130, fellas? And this is where that feeling starts to come in, right? Because I've analyzed all that, I've gathered that SA, and right now I'm like, you know what? I'm turning around. I bet he squirted south. He snuck through the south right there. Took the opportunity after he killed those two guys. And he's being smart. He's changing his position. He's got the speed to do so. I was a little bit worried about finding him waiting for me because I might walk into him. And when I don't find him here, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit here for a second. Let's see what happens. Let's see. We're going to go here. We'll kind of zoom in. And let's see what happens. Oh, look at this. I mean, on cue, guys. Nearly on cue. He was looking. He expected maybe to come up and over there. So good on him for thinking about that and trying to get in behind me. That could have changed things. It would have at least made it a little bit tricky to deal with him, especially if the other two heavies were lighting guys and he was able to shoot from the middle. But I kind of had that feeling, and I assessed based on where he was, who it was of ours that went north and died, and what I might do. Because that's the other big key. Also think about what you might do in that situation. Well, he didn't want to just sit up there and get tracked down by 3 or 4 tanks. He took the opportunity to head south and see if he couldn't mix it up a little, change his stars a bit. And I happened to have that feeling about the right time based on what I was watching and what I saw going on in the map. And we ended up taking this guy out. The last thing I wanted to say here is, really with any TD, Lorraine or somebody found the 155, I was sort of worried he would be right behind him and I might eat a Lorraine shot in there as well. Get your TDs into position, fellas. I can't say that you necessarily want to be in the front lines. And again, if it's a glass TD like a Scorpion or a Su-130, you don't want to just drive into the front lines and start punching people in the face. I happen to think that's kind of fun, but you do need to get it forward enough to get it into the game. And if you're running an assault TD like this, and we'll have more videos of this kind of idea a little bit later for TD operations here, But notice that I have 1,440 assists, 2,304. So that's a combined 3,700, which is a pretty nifty little game, right? Not the best, not an actual epic game, but a solid, a very good game right there. And it has to do with hitting W and getting your tank out there. But do it smartly. Try to assess the match as best you can. I will tell you that you will find yourself getting punished a bit, especially if you don't do this kind of gameplay a lot, if this is not your forte. But I guarantee you a couple things on it. Number one is you're going to get more experience. You'll end up with more damage. You'll get more assist. So your grind will happen faster. And although it won't be as fun necessarily if you die a bit as you're learning how to do this, it will eventually be much more fun when you learn to be a little more aggressive and get your tank out there. I'm not saying YOLO, and the only way to learn is to do it. And you just get more damage, you get more assist, you get more experience, and you're going to help your teams win by getting your gun in the game early. All right, I could have sat there with the rest of the TDs. You'll see the card at the end of this thing. Notice where I am and notice where everybody else is by just doing a little bit of W. Now, I will admit I got a little bit lucky on the hill. I probably could have been taken out by the two Progettos, and maybe, if the Artie was paying attention to me, et cetera, et cetera. But, sometimes you just got to roll them dice and get in there. But we did assess correctly that we needed to peel that Progetto out. We could not let him sit there because I was kind of trapped. So if you are going to be aggressive, make sure you understand and prioritize who has to die first. I keep saying Progetto. The Progetto 46 medium needed to be peeled out of there. Then we could deal with the other guy. As far as that engagement goes, there's a little lesson learned there too. The Progetto 54 was a one-shot. He is going to be less inclined to pop out and shoot you than the Progetto 46 would be, who can afford to take a hit. So there's a lot of stuff going on in there. All right, there you go. Get your TD out there and gather that SA. Look at all the things that are going on the map as best you can. Sometimes you're in the weeds and you're so busy trying to live or kill something that you don't see it. But if you have time in a game like this and you can kind of pay attention, you can gather information in lots of different ways. And you can look at it and go, well, if I was that Su-130, what would I do? I didn't really have much else to do anyway. I could have driven off the cliff and headed into the middle, but that's not really a great plan. So as I looked at that and the hair started to rise on the back of my neck, I'm like, I'm surprised that Lorraine hasn't seen this guy. He's taken 0 damage. I don't think he's up in there. I think he's headed my way or has moved south or something. Let's turn around, get ready, and see if we can catch this guy being a bit unawares. And again, like I said, good on him for giving it a shot, but we just out-clevered him on that one. All right, guys, that is all I've got. Have a great one. We will see ya.